You are listening to the Become a Guitarist Today podcast with Adam Roach.
Hey there, and welcome to episode number 153 with my guest today, Alex Grossi, from the band Hookers and Blow and also Quiet Riot. So Hookers and Blow have just released a new album through Golden Robot Records, which features a lot of different covers that the guys are performing live in their act at the moment. Now the opening track you're hearing is from the album, and the song's called Godzilla, so originally done by Blue Oyster Cult. So in this interview, Alex lets us know a bit about the band, which features Dizzy Reed, the keyboardist from Guns N' Roses, on lead vocals and keyboards, and plus what they're up to now and what's happening with Quiet Riot. Now before we go to the interview, thank you to my sponsors, Musician, Custom Guitar Picks, and Arnaud Krakowka. So let's have a listen to Arnaud's advert right now.
You don't need a drummer to make an amazing metal song. All you need is access to tracks produced in a great studio by a great engineer. My full-length drum tracks are crafted using the best sounding samples I've been developing for over a decade and have been used by thousands of professional musicians worldwide up to the highest level in the industry, including John 5 and Gus G. Stop wasting hours of your time trying to program drums and stop wasting tons of money to have your drummer record in a studio for mediocre results. With my drum tracks, you don't need to worry about any of that. Just drag and drop your tracks, press record, and you're done. All of that with a killer, authentic sound. So go to my website, arnaudkrakowka.com, to start rocking.
So thank you, Arnold. So let's go over to Las Vegas now with my interview with Alex Grossi. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, yourself?
Good, thanks for having me, man.
No problem. Thanks for doing this. How's it all going there?
It's all good, yeah. We're kind of locked down, semi-lockdown as well, you know.
Oh, really?
Whenever we were playing shows on the weekends, but it's all with super precautions, you know.
Yeah, I've seen a few shows come up, you know, on the social medias, and some have been cancelled, they're going ahead, so it's all over the place.
So it is. It totally is. It changes daily, it seems.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But, yeah, congratulations with the new album.
Thank you so much.
Self-titled, isn't it? Hookers and Blow.
Hookers and Blow. Let's keep it simple.
That's it. Now, I must say, when I first listened to it, there was probably 5 tracks that I didn't know. And the other ones, I hadn't really heard many of those songs before.
Right.
So to me, it was like listening to a original album, which was great.
Well, we definitely put our own spin on a lot of it too. So yeah, it's got our fingerprints and our DNA all over it for sure. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, your version, Time of the Season, that was probably my favorite cover of actually changing it around a little bit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're happy with that one.
Yeah, that turned out really good. Under My Thumb, again, another great cover and good version of it.
Cool. I like that one. I'm really happy with the way that came out too. It's got a whole different spin on the whole thing, you know.
So with the whole album, who chose the songs? Was it like a band?
It was a band effort, you know. I mean, everyone put their 2 cents in, and it came together, you know, relatively quickly, considering everything. You know, our drummer Johnny Kelly, he came in and he'd never even heard a couple of the songs until that morning.
Really?
Nailed it, you know.
Yeah.
He just went for it, and that you can kind of hear that in the recordings, the way they came off. There's a little bit of spontaneous, you know, magic to them, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with the body count cover. We didn't know how that was going to turn out, but it came out great.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mention that one because I hadn't heard of that song before. So again,
it's a deep cut off their first record. It's not, you know, it's not really. Well, actually, they did have a video for it, but it wasn't a huge hit, if you will.
Yeah. So some of the other ones that I hadn't heard of, that I thought was really good as well. So Shakin, the Eddie Money song, I hadn't heard that before, and that was a great one. And the solos, everything.
Really cool. Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm a huge Eddie Money fan. That song was my pick.
Okay,
I've always wanted to cover that. Yeah.
So when it comes down to the solos for this album, did you like try and replicate their solos or just improvise, do your own thing?
It depends on the track, really. I mean, the body count cover I started with off kind of the way they start off, and then went off on my own direction. And with the Eddie Money thing, I kind of kept it true to the record for the most part. Okay. I mean, it really varied from song to song,
Yep.
It just whatever would fit. It really depended on how much we altered the track to begin with.
Yeah. Now, I saw another interview where you did mention that you might have enough songs for another album. So do you think that might be a possibility?
Yeah. It definitely will happen at some point. Just a question of when. We got another album. I would say a whole other album. But we have a lot of ideas and a couple tracks left over. So between all that, we might just either want to keep continuing what we're working on some of those tracks, or just start fresh. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We don't plan too far ahead in this band.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't these days, can you?
No, you really can't with anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so you had this for a little while, haven't you, the start recording of this album?
We started it in April of 2019. Okay. And then we just finished it this past summer. So.
All right, yeah.
And now it's finally out. We're really happy with it.
Yeah, that's excellent. And so at the same time, you're still doing Quiet Riot as well, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, that's my main gig as Dizzy's is obviously GNR.
Yep.
But, yeah, we're working a lot. I mean, we have this weekend off, but we're pretty much booked solid for the rest of the year, at least till November as of right now. So, yeah.
With the Quiet Riot one, so you got a new album possibly in the works with that as well?
Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, we have a lot of tracks that Frankie left behind. And, we're just kind of working with those right now and seeing what's what and, kind of getting back into it. I mean, right now is real busy tour season, but we're working on it during our downtime, and I think by this time next year we should have a pretty good idea. We're taking it slow. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. Actually, talking about the Frankie song, because again in the other interview I heard that you said you are going to use some of those, aren't you, for the album, some of these tracks?
For the Quiet Riot album.
Yeah. Sorry, Quiet Riot.
For the new Quiet. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be all Frankie. Yeah.
That'd be a really good way of remembering him as well. So through the tracks.
Oh, yeah. Like I always say in pretty much every interview, we're not built to last, but the work and the tracks and stuff you leave behind is. So, I'm really glad that we have those. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. And, talking about Frankie again, so there's 2 tracks on the Hookers and Blow album, isn't there, with him playing?
Yes. Yep, the 2 Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah. So was that recorded just at the time when you started the album?
It was recorded the fall of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So 6 months after we started, yeah.
So that was about the time when he was a little bit sick then, or was it?
He was pretty, he fought for a long time. I mean, when he recorded those tracks, he was in pretty rough shape. He was doing the chemo, Yep. But if you listen to those recordings, he did everything in 1 or 2 takes and sounds like a 20-year-old kid,
Yeah.
You'd never know.
Yeah.
You'd never know, yeah. I was blown away when I heard the takes. I was like, wow, you never know the guy was battling what he was battling,
Yeah, but what a treasure to have, though, to have that on this album and the next Quiet Riot album. It's amazing. Absolutely,
yeah. It's going to be good. It's really cool in a lot of ways to kind of keep, I mean, it's such a signature drum sound. It's so cool. Like he's still here, It's great.
So who's the female singer in the band?
Oh, that's Dizzy's wife, Nadja.
Oh, right. Okay.
She's actually from down there. She's from New Zealand, I believe.
Oh, really?
And she's a member of the band. She sings on almost pretty much every song. And sings lead on the Beastie Boys track and the Zombies cover. Yeah, she's great. She adds a whole different dynamic to the lineup. I'm glad she's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very different feel for the Beastie Boys track, what you just spoke about.
Oh yeah, you have to. You got to turn it upside down, Especially playing that song with a real drummer, because the original program drum machine is so stiff, and then to play it with an actual swing to it, it's a whole different thing. So
yeah. Now, was there any songs that you thought were like a little bit of a challenge that you had to learn?
No, they were all kind of challenging and not challenging in a way because we didn't have any parameters to work with it. Yep. We could do anything we wanted. We have full creative control. So, we just kind of went for it on each track. So we didn't make it difficult by putting too much pressure on ourselves. We picked songs that we knew we could put a proper spin on.
Yep.
And some of the tracks that we initially tried didn't sound all that good, and we scrapped them.
That was actually my next question. Yeah, did you have more songs that you thought, didn't quite?
We do. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I like probably just want to start the whole thing fresh over, but you never know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Now, as far as guitars, so I know you got a lot of guitars there. So, what was your main one you used for this album?
It's a Paul Reed Smith Custom 24. Actually, I use this guitar on almost all the tracks. It's a regular old Custom 24, about 20 years old, all stock, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
just that guitar and a bunch of plugins.
And that's the one you used live on that video as well, isn't it? I noticed you did the live video. Yeah, that was a great sound.
Oh yeah, they're. I mean, you know, I use their amps too, and they keep, you know, they take really good care of me. They make really good stuff. It's quality. And I just, you know, I use one of their Archon amps, like a 30-watt combo, and I put a 412 on the side of it, and you know, it kind of has a good separation between the 112 little combo and the 412, you know, cabinet, like kind of a low-high thing. So yeah, they sound great. I'm happy with the tones, and I'm happy with the studio tones as well. So
yeah, the production sounds great on this album.
That's our boy Alistair James. Yeah, he did a great job. He really kind of added his own flair to it as well, because he gets the same sense of humor we have. Yeah. So he would, you know, have these little goofy ideas that most other bands would be like, dude, stop. We're like, yeah, I like that. You know, there's definitely some little ear candy stuff in there that was performed with not a guitar, not anything you think. It's pretty funny.
Oh, really?
I'll let the listeners try to figure out what some of the ear candy is, but we had fun with it for sure.
I'll have to go back and have another listen.
Yeah.
Now, the other song I wrote down here, which I wasn't familiar with, is Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that the bass solo, is that in the original as well?
You know what? I don't even know. I haven't heard the original version of that song in probably 25 years. I don't think there is. I don't know. Yeah. I think there's some kind of breakdown there, but not as extensive as the one we do. Okay. And that's got the Yokai sisters on it. These Japanese sisters, they live in Los Angeles. They're amazing. That bass player is now in Limp Bizkit, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Some of these songs I have to go back and have a listen to the originals to see what they are.
So do I.
Rudy Sarzo, is he back in the band now?
He's starting up again at the end of the year.
Okay.
Beginning of next year, end of the year, yeah. 2022, basically, he's coming back. Yeah, we're very excited. I'm glad it all worked out. And, you know, it's definitely, you know, as he's been saying, he's coming home. You know, that's kind of the band that he's probably most known for, being an actual, you know, like a founding member of, or, you know, original member. So I'm excited, you know, and he seems to be too. So it's going to be definitely cool to play with someone who's played with all these legends, you know. I mean, got to play with Randy Rhoads, you know, so definitely, you know, looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, like, he's an amazing bass player, and you must feel pretty honoured to be able to jam with him as well and play with him. It's
definitely going to be a learning experience, you know, because I want to see. I always try to like learn from these guys that I play with that are a lot older than me and did it for real, kind of back in the day. They kind of founded this whole thing that we all know and love. Yeah. So I like to, you know, be a sponge, to get the information, hear the stories firsthand, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to read about in Guitar Magazine or in Hip Raider Magazine, or if that even exists at all anymore. But it's one other thing to hear it from the horse's mouth, you know. Yeah. So I'm stoked. So yeah, it's gonna be definitely an adventure for sure. We already recorded one song called Rock and Peace that we debuted on this podcast a couple months ago, and it came out great. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So
look forward to hopefully see you guys here. Who knows when, but when it comes about down in Australia.
Yeah, we you know, right before the pandemic, we were talking about it. We were talking to a promoter down there, and it was looking pretty good. And then that hit, and everything that was already on the books got moved up a year. Yeah. You know, got moved back a year, and everything kind of like domino effect. So we're kind of in line to get down there. Just a lot of these postponed dates need to play out too. But if, you know, who knows what's going to happen? We don't. Again, not planning too far ahead till this whole thing's under control. Yeah,
exactly. When the Quiet Riot album's out, love to have you back on to talk about that if you're interested.
Absolutely, yes. Totally. Keep in touch.
Cool. Yep, for sure. Thank you.
Cool.
All
Thank
right.
you, buddy.
Thanks, Alex. See you later. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.